yourself an army. And boy, let me tell you, did I. And if people think that we're going to stop fighting for our freedom and liberty, they got something coming. All right, welcome to Stand Up, Stand Out America. Today, I have special guest, and I am so excited. This topic is extremely important because we need to talk about what is going on in our country, and we talk about it and people call us conspiracy theorists. But I now have someone who is, you're going to hear it straight from their mouth, and their movement at the National Federated State of China is a new Federated State of China. My friend Nicole here is going to talk about how the Communist Party has infiltrated America and every aspect of America, every sphere, how much influence they have, and why they have started this movement in this new state of China, and they're fighting back to take the CCP and to save America. It is such an important topic. So I really want to welcome Nicole to Stand Up, Stand Out America, because that is what we're really about, is to stand up. We got to stand up for America. We got to be bold and courageous. And so I want to welcome my dear friend, Nicole. Welcome to our show. How are you?
Hello, Bianca. I am so thrilled to be here. What a privilege. I love your audience. I love the Latino America. And most importantly, I love Latino for America first. Thank you for having me.
We love you. We love you, and we thank you. We have become sisters now in this fight, and American sisters that we've been brought together for purpose and reason. And so I am very, very excited. I want you to tell our audience just a little bit about you, just a little bit about who you are and what you do, so that they know who you are. And then I'm going to ask you some really tough questions, but I know that you're going to be able to help us understand these things, so that in our community, that they're very similar things of why Latinos have fled socialist and communist countries such as Cuba and Venezuela, Nicaragua, things. There's countries that are under that socialist agenda. And so, but tell us a little bit about yourself, Nicole.
Yes, absolutely. So I was born and grew up in communist China. So I had a firsthand experience of what is dictatorship, tyranny, suppression, censorship, surveillance. I experienced all of it. And when I was a little girl, I remember the textbook at school, and it's all about indoctrination, about Karl Marx and Lenin, and about the evil communism. And so this is not education, this is indoctrination, this is brainwashing. And so more than anybody who's lucky to be born and grew up in this country, I know how freedom is precious to people who didn't have time and opportunity to enjoy it. So I came here, and I actually, everybody, if you are old enough, you should remember that tank man, the brave Chinese man who were standing in front of the tank during the 1989 pro-democracy student-led movement. And so billions of people watched that scene of that one Chinese man standing up to the power and say no to evil communism. And so there's so many people, Chinese people living in this country. If you ask them why you came to this country, I am sure that you'll get the same or very similar answer, because we want freedom. We want a freedom from communism. We want a freedom from the Chinese Communist Party's dictatorship and tyranny and censorship and suppression. And we want freedom from religious persecution in China, and people in China have been persecuted and are still being persecuted as of we speak today. Christians and Catholics, Uyghurs, Tibetans, and the members of the meditation group, also known as the Falun Gong practitioners, people who have spiritual belief, are being brutally persecuted in China. And now there's the draconian measures on the COVID lockdown. I mean, people have been locked up in their house, in their apartment, and the people have been forced to take jabs. So everything that people start to have a taste of what is 1984 in that fiction is now becoming a reality. So I came to this country as a student. I got my master's degree. I got a good job, and I also worked for the U.S. federal government. And over the last 20 years, I see this country is losing its Americanness. It's losing the freedom. I see the CCP is coming to this country. CCP has controlled your Wall Street, Silicon Valley, Hollywood, NBA, Confucius Institute have been placed on so many American colleges and universities. And right now, the CCP is inside the Department of Justice and American courthouses. And your mainstream media in this country, they are running content. They're running the propaganda content supplied by Beijing. And we're talking about the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, Mother Jones, New Yorker, all of it.
So Nicole, let me just jump in here real quick. I want to make sure that our audience understands this. You're not just telling me this because this is what's happening, because this is what's happening in America right now. We are witnessing it.
Yeah.
You are literally going back to your childhood and remembering the parallelism that it's side by side. You're recognizing all the signs and saying, I've already seen this before and it's happening here. Is that correct?
Absolutely. For example, in communist China, I remember that we cannot have our independent thinking. Right now in this country, I'm seeing the controlled narrative. And I'm seeing the mainstream media is controlling the public opinion, controlling the narrative. And if you have a different voice, you become a dissident. In this country, I see so many American people becoming dissident. So I'm seeing something that I was used to, and I see that freedom is gradually going away in this country. And I can smell it because I grew up in that country. I can smell communism from 500 miles away. I can smell it. I see it's coming, and it's taking your country down. But right now, I must say that I already become a naturalized U.S. citizen. Right now, I feel like I have a responsibility to step forward and join people like you to take back America.
Amen. This is a beautiful story about your life, but yet the evilness that we are seeing through your testimony with what's happening in America is not so beautiful. And but you know what you've already experienced, sacrificed, you've actually become a US citizen now.
Yeah.
And so, you know, speaking of that, how does it make you feel to see the illegal invasion of our border and knowing that the Chinese Communist Party has some type of hand in that, knowing that you've come here, you studied, and you become a natural, a citizen, and you're active, and that you're seeing what happened to your country play out in our country, and you're trying to help us Americans save our country. How does it make you feel just alone with watching what is happening at the southern border?
So I believe in this country, and I remember that when I first came here, I read about the founding fathers, the Declaration of Independence, and all the beautiful writings penned by America's founding father. I believe in American history. I believe America was founded by God-loving patriots like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and I believe all the traditional American values. I believe what America what's making America great. That is your values. And so America should protect its borders. It should protect its border from the aggression by the uninvited people. There's a law, you can follow the law. You can, just like me, I waited in lines to get my citizenship, because this
Yes.
is a country governed by the rule of law. There's a
Yes.
rule of law. So
We do have a rule of law.
if you want to come here, there are millions of people like myself who have followed the lawful procedure and become a naturalized citizen, and we feel very welcome. And so America is a big melting pot.
Yes.
So I think on the southern border, I'm horrified to see that CCP has capitalized on this weakness.
Yes.
To allow
Yes.
the drug dealers
Yes.
to export the fentanyl, and fentanyl has killed so many American young life, and drug dealer, human trafficking. So when you stop protecting your border, you are inviting your enemy to come
Yes.
in and destroy your country. And
Yes.
I think America's freedom is for the freedom-loving people who want to love the rule of law. It's not for people who want to destroy the rule of law in this country. So
Yes.
personally, I believe that people should follow the law. And America is a country governed by the rule of law.
Yes. Amen. It's just that simple. I don't understand why people don't realize that we do have laws for that reason, and we're not following our own laws that are in the books. Nicole, let me ask you, what would happen if I would take some of my Latino friends and we went to the border of China and walked over with no papers and no process and no permission? What would I'm curious, what would happen to me and my group of friends if I did that?
You will not be allowed the entry, okay? And you will be treated as an invader, because there's a procedure. People, even the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, they want you to follow the procedure. Nobody is going to enter China without proper paperwork, without documentation. And that, I think that's borderless. The whole borderless thing is not even allowed in the communist China, let me tell you.
And if I did it and I walked across and didn't listen to them and said, well, I don't really care what you say, China, and I'm going to come
You'll be arrested.
My friends, what would really happen to me?
You'll be arrested?
Arrested, and do I have rights?
Well, if you violate the law, you don't have the right to violate the law, basically, and you will be put on a plane and they will send you back and you'll be put on a blacklist, and you probably will never ever get a chance to go back. Simple as that.
Wow. Okay. Well, see, and that's even the Communist Party follows those rules that you can't just walk into China uninvited and with no process and illegal. They want to know who you are, correct?
Yeah.
They're going to know who you are coming into their country. So that's it's common sense, but for some reason America right now is not following common sense, nor is it following its own federal law. So that was important because we in America, here in America, and I live in Texas, and so the rhetoric comes out that we don't have compassion for these people that are coming across, and that we are insensitive to the poor people, and that they're just here to work, and they don't want to follow the law. So I'm seen as very insensitive and incompassionate for this invasion crisis. And so do you think that's part of the indoctrination, the mind games of propaganda? Is that what they do to people for control?
Well, I think it's double standard. People who are opposed to have the borders on the country why don't they take off their windows and walls and let people come in freely?
Thank you. Exactly. So Nicole, I want to ask you a question here, and I want you to explain to everybody. When you talk to, I can go to the grocery store or the gas pump or whatever, and I can ask a person just on this, regular person and say, I could say, did you know that our America has been infiltrated by the Communist Party? They would probably laugh at me and think that I was crazy. Can you explain to me and explain to our audience and explain to everyone that listens, how am I crazy or not? And how infiltrated is America? Can you give us some examples as into the level that you're saying that the Communist Party has infiltrated America?
Absolutely. Like, if people are watching this show, I would like you to raise your hand or type number 1 on the comment section to tell me whether you use Twitter or not. And I'm sure a lot of people are using Twitter. But do you know that Twitter hired Li Feifei, a Stanford University professor, to be on its advisory board? And since this woman came on board, Twitter suspended Mr. Mao Guo's account permanently. Mr. Mao Guo is CCP's enemy number 1. So when Mr. Mao Guo was whistleblowing against the corruption, against the human rights atrocity, against the CCP, Twitter banned Mr. Mao Guo. And today, millions and millions of Chinese dissidents like myself were part of the new federal state of China and were part of the Chinese whistleblower movement. We are being censored by Twitter. And guess who's behind Twitter? Elon Musk's $44 billion takeover of Twitter was largely financed by CCP's money. Sequoia Capital, which is 100%.
I was going to say, how do you know that, Nicole? How do you know that?
Yeah. Well, if you look up on the who financed Elon Musk's $44 billion of takeover of Twitter, you will see the name called Sequoia Capital. Sequoia Capital was founded by Neil Shen. This guy is a CCP high-ranking member. And so Sequoia Capital financed $800 million for Twitters. And also Binance, which is another 100% owned by CCP, which is a cryptocurrency company. And they have a CEO called Zhao Changpeng. This company provided $500 million for Elon Musk to acquire Twitter. And so it's CCP's money behind Twitter. So if you continue to be censored by Twitter, like all of us who work in this office, like there are 500 million Chinese whistleblower movement members, we are continuing to be censored by Twitter. And Mr. Mao Guo, CCP's enemy number 1, continues to be censored by Twitter.
That's unbelievable, because Elon Musk just said and proclaimed he was going to stop the censorship. Let me ask you, do you believe, we've heard that TikTok is pretty much owned by China?
Absolutely, 100%.
And that they use TikTok to gather our information against us. Do you believe that this is what they're doing with Twitter? Do you believe that they're also, that they allowed Elon Musk to buy Twitter so that they can have access to the data as well on Twitter? What are your thoughts on that?
So TikTok, 100% CCP. That's CCP's money, CCP's controlling share. So as long as there's a CCP money, there's no freedom of speech, okay? So if you want to follow the money, you will find out who's controlling this country. The CCP is pretty much controlling almost every aspect of this country's life, ranging from the social media, the mainstream media. Like, there have already been reports, showing the fact that the Wall Street Journal the New York Times, the Washington Post, and a number of other Western, American media. They've been taking tens of millions of dollars from Beijing, from CCP, to run the sponsored content supplied by China Daily, which is CCP's mouthpiece.
Wow.
Okay. Yes. And they treat it as a sponsored content, but it's CCP's propaganda. Imagine during the World War II,
Yes.
will the American mainstream media or newspaper to run Nazi Germany's propaganda? It's happening right now, every day.
Right.
And also
Wow.
for America's telecommunication companies like AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, Dish Network, you name it. All of this cable telecommunication carriers, they carry the content supplied by CCP.
Wow.
And because they broadcast the China Central Global Network. And in Chinese, it's the CCTV's content. In English, in Spanish. So CCP is in your living room already through the Dish Network, through the Comcast, Verizon. So this is a propaganda. And
they're in our communications.
And
they're
the
in
reason,
social media, mainstream
exactly.
media. They're infiltrating through the southern border. You're saying they're in our education. What about our education system? Are they
absolutely education? The Confucius Institute, okay, there were like at least like 200 or more. Confucius Institute, that is CCP's indoctrination machine. They have been placed on the campuses of American universities and colleges. And also the Ivy League schools like Stanford, University of Pennsylvania, Harvard, and Yale, they've been taking hundreds of millions of donations from CCP. Okay, so let's say I'm a member of the new federal state of China, and if I want to give a speech sponsored by the Harvard University on the campus of Harvard University, it's not going to happen. Okay, because Harvard is controlled by CCP's money. And it also happened in 2017 when Mr. Mao Squad, he was going to give a live broadcast on the US government-owned broadcaster called the Voice of America. Listen carefully, VOA is owned by the US government and is funded by the US taxpayers. So Mr. Mao Squad was giving a live broadcast exposing the crimes against humanity committed by the CCP. And his live broadcast was abruptly suspended. It's CCP. CCP is controlling the US government broadcaster and also
education. And so
education and think tank.
Education, Nicole. Yes, on the education, Nicole, what are they teaching through that indoctrination? Do they have a curriculum? Are they implemented classes? What exactly,
absolutely. So when
how is it set up? But what do our parents need to be looking for when their children, because we send our children to college or to school, what are something that we need to look for? Because we already know that we're fighting books in the library that aren't supposed to be in the library. We're fighting to speak up for our kids in school. What do we look for? What are the indicators? How do we know what we're looking at so that we know how to guide our child?
Yeah. So in a communist society, I remember there was in the recent history of communist China, there's a movement called a political disturbance called the Cultural Revolution. And people are being classified into different classes. Like these are the 5 black classes and these are the 5 red classes. And the CCP let people, pit against each other. And so it's like, oh, you came from a wealthy family and your parents are well educated, then you shouldn't enjoy the same equal education opportunity as people who came from a dirt poor family. So it's the communism is not about equal opportunity. It's about they try to seek the equal result, and that's taking away the freedom from individual. So it's very similar to the CRT, critical race theory. It's like affirmative action. Affirmative action. Remember the Asian American, the Chinese American kids, because they're so good in math and science and in some subjects that they have to achieve like a 200 more scores, or that, or because there's a quota. There's a quota because
there's a quota, and they call it STEM. They call it STEM program now,
and it's called the AA, the affirmative action. Okay, so that's very that reminds me of the socialism and communist society, and because you should look at people's merit. You should ignore their race and color and how they look. Look at the result, And so I think that really reminds me of something happened in the communist China during the Cultural Revolution, where people being classified into different classes, and the so-called affirmative action. To me, affirmative action is a discrimination against people.
Against one or the other. Yeah. You're saying you're going to give affirmative action, but you're discriminating against the people who you are not, it's not really an equal society there. So I'm very, it's not fear, but I'm very struck at knowing the levels that you're talking about of how infiltrated China has come in. Now, you mentioned Wall Street. They've infiltrated Wall Street. What about you said our court systems?
Court system.
Our government. So I'm trying to think of, what about our banking system?
Oh, absolutely. And so let's start with your justice system, the judicial system, because America is a country governed by the rule of law. But imagine the law practitioners are being bought out by the CCP, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now, because many American law firms, they profit from CCP. In the Wall Street, there's so many law firms. They got billions and billions of dollars by helping the CCP state-owned, state-controlled enterprises to go public in America. They got listed in the New York Stock Exchange, and they got paid like a big fat check. And now these lawyers become so successful, they could be picked as a judge. Okay?
Wow.
Yes. So because
they've been working on this for years. This is not just happened within the last year or during Donald Trump's years. This has been going on for a while.
Yeah. So for example, there's a judge in the he's a Supreme Justice in the state of New York. I mean, he spent his whole pre-judicial career in a big law firm as a partner, and that law firm is brought Jack Ma's Alibaba company to go public in the U.S. So these lawyers and partners are enriched by the CCP, and now they got picked to be a judge, or they have family members who are continuing working in the law firm, whose success is dependent on keeping the CCP in power. And imagine, listen carefully, what if these lawyers are being hired by the CCP to go after Chinese dissidents like us?
Absolutely.
What if the law firm or the lawyers who have been enriched by the CCP to be appointed by DOJ, Department of Justice, as a trustee in a bankruptcy case of CCP's enemy number one, Moscow.
This is dangerous. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. I don't, the Latinos, they in 2016, some Venezuelans came to me and said, we've lost our country, and we were one of the most, I guess, I don't want to say the richest countries, one of the richest countries in the world. They said, they had oil and everything. And so they said, but we've lost it in 10 years. It's gone. It just went. And all these things that are happening here, they said, communism is at your door. You don't do something. And we just kind of said, no, this is America. And so then as 2016 passed, 2017, 2018, the same Venezuelans were like, communism is no longer at your door, it's inside your house now.
Yes.
This is what you're explaining to me.
Yes.
It's not outside of our boundaries, it is inside our homes. It's inside of everything.
Everything is not outside of your house. It's inside of your living room. It's inside your computer, your cell phone, and also in young people's mind. There was a survey did by the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. They did a tracking study among the young Americans about their attitude towards socialism or capitalism, and they found like more than half of the young millennials in this country who are lucky to be born in this country, they prefer socialism over capitalism.
They don't even know what socialism is.
And yes, so the survey asked them, what is socialism or communism? They had no idea. So
they had no idea.
It's ignorance.
They think socialism means that they're
free education, free everything.
They really believe that socialism means that you believe in social work, that you believe in helping people, that you believe.
No.
That's why when you say, do you believe in socialism? They said, oh, yes, because they don't want to be seen as insensitive, that they don't want to help people. They don't understand what really socialism is.
So this is why I think this country really need the young people and a lot of people who have never lived in a socialist or communist society. They need to be well informed about what's going on. Yes. And so I think the best case for people to learn the fact, the truth about the danger of communism is to study the lawsuit that have been brought against Mr. Mao Guo, the CCP's number one enemy. The CCP have weaponized the Department of Justice, the SEC, the FBI, the New York District Court to persecute the Chinese dissidents. So the communism is not outside of this country, it's in your court, in America's courthouses, in America's justice system. And the best case study to learn about all this evil communism is to study Mr. Mao Guo's bankruptcy case.
So they've gone after Mao Guo, but yet we allow the cartels to run all the border, bring in human trafficking, child trafficking, sex trade, fentanyl that are killing our children. We cannot prosecute them. We got people murdering people, and DAs are allowing them to just roam the streets again and don't leave them in there. And you're telling me that instead our own government has been weaponized to go after people who will not fall in line, who will are free thinkers, who want freedom and justice. That this is what they'll single out one person and go after that person, opposed to really controlling the true enemy that we have in this country. Nicole, this is very scary to me, and I know that our audience is going to be almost that they're not going to want to believe this. They're probably going to say, what else do we need to be aware of? And most important, Nicole, what are we going to do to save this country? You all, I wasn't born in a communist country and had to flee. I wouldn't even know what to do. I mean, if they've infiltrated everything, what are we going to do, Nicole? How are we going to save this country, knowing how infiltrated we have been by the Communist Party? What are we going to do, Nicole? Please tell me that you all have drafted solutions, that you have something that you can give the American people, that you can give our Latino community and say, listen, there is a solution. There's something we can do. What can we do, Nicole?
Yes, the solution has already been provided by Mr. Mao Guo, the leader and founder of the Chinese whistleblower movement. He's also the founding father of the new federal state of China. We are CCP's enemy number one. And so if you follow the new federal state of China, you will learn about the never heard before crimes against this country brought by the CCP. So go to our website, nfscofficial.com, and please also follow Mr. Mao Guo's Getter account. And you can find Mr. Mao Guo on Getter account. Remember, and let me give you the example why if you follow Mr. Mao Guo, if you follow new federal state of China, you will be saved. Years ago, when the coronavirus first broke in China, Mr. Mao Guo is the first one to tell the whole world that this is not a normal virus or disease. This is CCP's bioweapon, and deliberately manufactured in the Wuhan lab with the money given by NIH, okay? The gains of, function research allowed the CCP to develop the virus in the Wuhan bioweapon lab. And Mr. Mao Guo tell America, you need to have a travel ban because this is a human-to-human transition disease. So luckily, the former administration listened to Ms. Mao Guo's advice and initiated the travel ban and saved so many American people's lives. And Mr. Mao Guo also told people about the vaccines. The Pfizer's research is based in communist China, controlled by the CCP. And Mr. Mao Guo also told people, for the public pension funds, it's being stolen by CCP through a company called the PAG, and this guy, has the PAG's chairman, Shan Weijian. He's a top CCP agent. He got his education from UPenn, and he used to serve as an officer in the World Bank. So those are the things that Mr. Mao Guo had already been telling the whole world, that if America had heeded Mr. Mao Guo's advice and warning, America could have avoided the pandemic disaster. Okay.
Wow.
But so this is Mr. Mao Guo, when he was giving the first speech at National Press Club in Washington, D.C.
Right.
This is what he said. He says the darkness is ascending upon the West.
Oh, wow.
The CCP is going to destroy the Western civilization. The CCP is going to have unrestricted warfare against the U.S. And guess what, Bianca? People who were sitting in the audience, they didn't believe Mr. Mao Guo. No, they're bursting into laughter. They think this guy is nuts, or this guy is a conspiracy theorist, and they're still like the left-wing media, like Mother Jones and New Yorker. They accuse Ms. Mao Guo as a conspiracy theorist. But 5 years later, everything that Mr. Mao Guo told and warned had become a sad reality. That's why he always say, don't trust me, verify yourself. Don't trust me, verify yourself.
Absolutely.
So 5 years had already passed, and many of his warnings had become a tragic reality. America has lost over 1 million people's life to this global pandemic. And the vaccine has killed more life than we could ever imagine. And the CCP has stolen American people's public pension funds, privacy, and data. And they also stole your children, because when your children are being indoctrinated by the communists, you lose your children, you lose your country, you lose everything. You're losing this country.
Everything.
And now the DOJ, the Department of Justice, the IRS, the Security Exchange Commission, the SEC, and all these government agencies have been weaponized by the CCP. So the CCP is already here It's inside. This is your most deadly enemy trying to take your children, to take your country, and it's time to wake up.
Yes, we have to wake up. I was actually sharing my screen because I wanted to show a picture of Miles. But can you believe that when I did share my screen and I typed in his name and I was trying to show y'all's page, it started to interfere and take our transmission out. So I had to stop sharing the screen.
Wow. So did you mean that you were trying to share Mr. Mao's photo now?
I did. I brought it up and it was stopping our transmission. So I had to
Wow.
I had to stop sharing because it was just stopping our transmission. Yeah.
So guys, listen. The CCP does not want you to know about Mr. Mao's school, does not want you to follow Mr. Mao's school, because CCP wants to destroy you. And the more they're trying to suppress us, the more you should stand up and fight and follow NFSC, follow nfscofficial.com, and follow Mr. Mao's school on his Getter account. And follow us, follow the freedom-loving patriots. I'm an ethnic Chinese, you're ethnic Latino, and America is a country that does not discriminate people on the basis of their color, ethnicity. We're one human race, and we're one human race who's going to take down the enemy to the entire humanity, and that is the Chinese Communist Party.
Yes, correct. You're exactly correct. That is we are going to have to really pray for this nation in a very different way. You know, Christians that you know follow me, God-loving people. You know, if we don't know what we're praying, what we're up against. I've always said this: if you do not know who your enemy is, then number one, you don't know who to pray against. Number two, you don't know how to win because you don't know who you're fighting. And so you must know who your enemy really is to have any kind of victory to win. So we're going to have to put all of these things in prayer. Number one. Number two, we're going to have to unite and take action. Number three, anyone who is listening to this podcast should follow Nicole and Miles Gu or the NFSC Speaks or NFSC TV on Getter. It's about the only platform that is not, you know, censored you. And so this is extremely important that we follow and we research. And listen, I love the fact that you said, don't believe me, go research it and verify yourself. You must verify because yes, people are going to think, Bianca, you're crazy. What you're talking to the Chinese now about the Communist Party. They're going to think that I'm crazy. They're going to think that it's that I'm just now going down some rabbit hole.
Your common sense, Bianca. Your common sense.
Common sense. And I this is why it's important. I need our community to listen, and the people that follow me may not have ever heard your story. And we would, you know, they may read about it in one article somewhere, but they're not going to pay attention to it because it's like one article. You know, it's so suppressed. Number one, you're censored, so you can't really say a whole lot. Just like recently, yesterday, there was an article, and the jabbed or the jabbed people are blaming the unjabbed people for not warning them of all this, what was going to happen because you got jabbed, because of all the deaths that are suddenly happening. They're now blaming us because they're saying we didn't warn them. I'm like, I'm sorry. Well, number one, we couldn't those of us that tried to warn you, you wouldn't listen because you said we were conspiracy theorists and you called us anti-vaxxers. Second, even if we wanted to really push to tell you, we were censored. So how are we really supposed to get the message when, number one, you didn't want to listen and you thought that we were insensitive and we were anti-vaxxers and you called us all kinds of names, and then we were censored on top of that. So you can't blame us. We tried to tell you. So this is kind of the same thing with this message of how infiltrated America is by the Communist Party, because I know they're going to be like, Bianca, you know, you're crazy, especially my Latinos. You know, we left communism in Venezuela. We left it in Cuba. You know, they're not going to believe that this is where we're at right now.
Mhm.
And so is some of the information on like what Miles Goop has done. And I remember you telling me there was 3 steps to taking down the CCP. Do you have that published on your nfsc.com? Do you have those 3 steps of what people can take an action that people want to go and read it and say, okay, wow, this is real.
Yeah.
We need to prepare. We need to get active. We need to get with our, congresswomen, congressmen. We need to start doing, implementing these 3 steps,
Yeah.
helping our
Yeah.
Chinese Americans,
Yeah.
with taking down the CCP in America.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And I would love to share that, because a few weeks ago, Mr. Mousegua, in his live broadcast, he offered the 3F solutions. 3F. One is follow the money. Okay. For example, Eric Swalwell, who got the campaign money to get him elected into the Congress. It's the Fang Fang, the CCP spy. Okay. And number 2, follow the PP. For it's men's penis. Okay. So Fang Fang slept. If Fang Fang is a CCP spy, Eric Swalwell slept with her. And then, so if you follow the PP, you will know, find out who he slept with, and you find out who that person's real identity is, and this is the problem. And number 3 is to follow the NFSC, because NFSC is CCP's most formidable, most powerful enemy. And so they have no secrets in front of this NFSC. So if you follow NFSC and follow Mr. Mousegua and his Getter account, you will learn the highest level of intelligence. You will be able to identify that this is the CCP. The CCP is not about ethnicity. It's not about the Chinese or China or Chinese community. It's the people who are being bought out by the CCP. Are we losing Bianca because of the CCP's cyber attack? Hey, Bianca, did you get it?
No, you are not going to believe this.
You got cyber attacked by CCP.
I got cyber attacked. I had to log in through my phone. It said there's an error, and it shut down my whole computer.
Now this is not conspiracy theory, guys. This is
not a conspiracy theory at all. Wow.
Now
guys,
you know this is for real. Now you know this is for real. And you know what?
Yes.
So Bianca, listen. So for all the people who are watching this live stream, okay, Mr. Mousegua is the most censored Chinese words, okay, in the internet. You're not going to find any truthful information about him. Even Bianca was trying to show Mr. Mousegua's photo on this live stream. She got cyber attacked by CCP.
I got cyber attacked.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that. My whole I've never. That's not. My computer just doesn't do that. It said I had an error. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna have to take steps to protect my computer now. This is insane. This is insane. We're just having a conversation. We're not doing anything that's criminal. We're not doing anything that's illegal. We're just having a conversation about the infiltration of the CCP. We're talking about, you were in the middle of the 3 Fs, for crying out loud. The 3 Fs, follow the money, and they cyber attacked me. They took me down.
Yeah.
This is not a joke, guys. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. You cannot call me a conspiracy theory. You're not going to call Nicole conspiracy theory. You're not going to say we're crazy. You're not going to say this was just something. I've never been attacked like this before. I've never been attacked. I said, what happened? It shut down my whole thing. I picked up my phone. I said, I don't even know if it's still live. I didn't know if it shut everything down. But I logged in and you were on there, and I was like,
where's Bianca? Where's Bianca? We lost her.
This is insane.
I you know what? If we're talking about anything else like shopping and cooking, nobody is going to cyber attack us, because we're talking about how to find the CCP and how to save America. And then you got cyber attacked. It's
insane. It is insane. you know, this is insane. I just don't even know what to think right now. I mean, I've seen all kinds of things happen, but this was truly insane. I cannot believe that just happened. But I'm on my phone now, so let's make sure that, let's see if they don't take down my phone. You know, but this is insane. If I want you to finish telling us these three things, these three F's, because this is important. They're not going to take me down.
Let's finish the 3 F's.
We're going to finish the 3 F's because we're going to get the point across, and we got to get people activated. And this is real, guys. This was live. This was live. I was cyber attacked in the middle of the code telling us the 3 F's. Wow.
The 3F solution is provided by Mr. Mouse School. Follow the money, follow the PP, and follow NFSC. We have a website, nfscofficial.com, and we also have gnews.org. And you can also follow Mr. Mouse School on his Getter account. Just type Mouse School, and you can also watch our live stream, NFSC Speaks. Okay, because this is Getter is the only place that our voice will not be censored. This is where the place that you will be able to follow us, and you will be able to identify what is CCP, where are they, how to take them down. Follow NFSC and follow Mr. Mouse School. And we love you guys. For all of the freedom-loving people watching this live stream, we love you. We are in this all together. Look at what happened to Bianca. She's brave. I mean, her computer got hacked in the middle of a discussion.
For awareness on a discussion, just for talking to y'all about, and because and probably because I was typing in Miles Guo's number, name, because I was trying to bring it up so people could see who he is. That's all I was trying to do. I was just going to show that, and then I typed in nfsc.org because I was going to bring that up. And so I guess you're on a radar. So anytime somebody looks y'all up, people, this is real. So we're going to have to figure out ways to protect your computer or protect your phone when you're typing in NFSC to find out and connect with Nicole and Miles Go and find out what it is that we have to do. This is truly insane. And it's time that, Latinos and forget our skin color. It's time that Americans unite and really believe in our cause and the fight that we're in and what is happening. And you saw it here real live. I was hacked on my computer. The whole computer system went down. That has never happened. I do have firewalls. I have protections in my computer. But it literally just said, you've encountered an error, and it just all shut down.
And Bianca, you know why you got cyber attacked by CCP? Because they are afraid of you. You're powerful, you're strong, and you're good. And that's why they got scared, because CCP is coward, is evil, and is weak. Why don't they call in and start debating? They can't. They're coward. They're weak.
Yes.
So the only reason for you to get hacked by CCP is because you're true, you're good, and you're strong. So keep up your good work, and let's keep on, telling the truth and spreading the truth. And because if we don't fight, if we lose America, there's no place to escape to listen.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Nicole. If we're just crazy, let's just say me and Nicole are crazy. NFSC, Miles, we're all crazy. We're just some crazy people doing conspiracy theorists, and there's really no CCP and infiltration, nothing. Why do you care that we're talking about it? We have freedom of speech in this country. Why do you care? Let people say we're nuts and move on. But do you have to send the 3-letter alphabets after us? Do you have to, censor us? Do you have to hack our computers so that we don't talk about it? Do you have to send, the DOJ and court systems against, to come after Miles Gu and all of his organization? If we're just a bunch of wackos and we're not speaking truth, we don't have any, we're not speaking truth. Why would you do that?
Yes.
Just let us be wackos. You let the mental people walk around the street and they remain mental. you don't go and censor them. You just let them be. Well, let us be. Let us be wackos. If we're just wackos, let's be wackos. But we're not wackos. And this is why you're exactly right, because we spread truth, because we talk about it, because we have conversations.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want us to have the conversation. They don't want any attention on them. They want to continue to destroy America. They want to continue to do whatever, but the takeover, the new world, the world order, all of it. They're part of it. They want complete dominant order and control.
Yeah.
And so I love the follow the money. That is something we do in the United States too.
Follow
That's
the money.
anybody. That's anybody.
Follow the smoking guns. Yes.
Yeah, listen, if you're illegally doing something, that's what law enforcement does. They follow the money. That's what they do. Follow the money and find out what you're doing and who you're paying and where you're going, and follow the money.
Yeah.
So this is common sense. If our law enforcement does the same thing, right? Follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
They do the same thing. Follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, that is where we're at today.
Yeah. You are, you nail it, Bianca, because if we're mental, if we lose the common sense, why did they have to attack us? Why they have to deplatform us? Why they have to censor us? Because we make so much sense. We make a ton of sense that they got scared. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And that's
Lord
why
forbid that Nicole and Bianca are not friends and they're talking. Can't have that. That is crazy. That is nuts. But we're going to continue the fight. We're going to continue to talk about these things. We're going to continue to educate. Action, action, action. Nicole,
action. Bianca, we love you. We love you. All the freedom-loving Chinese people.
We love you too.
We love Latino America. We love all the patriotic American people. We love you. And so together we can take down the CCP. And let's make America first. America first means we take down the CCP first in America. And I support Latino for America first.
Yes, and we support you in the NFSC. We support you. Guys, please go follow them. Please go research and read. Know that we are not crazy. You saw it live here. Nicole, I want to thank you for joining us today on Stand Up, Stand Out America to take down the CCP. So we thank you so much.
CCP. Yes.
Take down the CCP.
Take down the CCP.
Yeah. So that is what we are, the cheerleaders of Take Down the CCP. There you go. You had it tonight. We are thankful that you tuned in and you stuck with us and you saw it here live. We're not joking around. Hey, listen, visit the nfc.com and you also visit Latinos for America First if you believe. LatinosForAmericaFirst.com if you believe in us and donate to us and let us keep spreading the truth. Let us keep being freedom fighters. Let us keep going out there and educating people, and action, action, action. Guys, thank you so much for a great night tonight. We thank you so much. Nicole, we will be in touch. I love you, sister, and I love all of my Chinese American friends. Thank you so much for coming tonight and for sharing your story with us. Thank you very much. We love you, love you, love you.
Thank you, Bianca. We love you all. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. I'll see you next time.
You too. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.